Hello, I'm Debbie Bell-Hosking for Finextra, and with me is Andrew Dare of Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Debbie.
You're with me to talk about new business models. So the first question has to be why the theme of new technology-enabled business models is so important.
Well, really, if you look at the retail banking industry over the last 10 to 15 years, most of the innovation there has been around channels and products. So a new way to get a mortgage or a different style of mortgage. Over recent years, we've seen a load of new business models arrive that are driven by different technologies. So the internet, cloud, social media. And what's happened is those new business models are making it easier for people to start a business up. So they're eating into the traditional space of retail banking, and they're providing real different innovation into that space rather than just new products and new channels. So it's really important for people to understand that the new technologies are driving a different way to do business altogether. And that what's happening there is that some of the older players are losing business to the new entrants.
So what are the prominent new business models you're seeing?
So they're very diverse. If you look at payments, for example, what's happening at the moment is a lot of the payment providers are using technology to deliver a different way to do payments. What they're doing, though, is they're still using the payment rails underneath. So the banks and the traditional payment clearing, that's still in use. But what you've got are intuitive interfaces. You've got easy ways to pay. So Apple Pay, for example, PayPal, those kind of things. So the payment space is innovation, but that's laid on top of the traditional rails. But what you also have is some genuinely different innovation. So if you look at peer-to-peer lending is a really good case. At one time, people wouldn't entertain peer-to-peer lending. It wasn't a proven technology. But what's happened is that it's gained acceptance. The interest rates that you get on peer-to-peer lending are very attractive. And it's got to the point where even the UK government is looking at peer-to-peer lending for their mainstream ISA product. So that's one area. I think for me, one of the most interesting areas is around blockchain technologies. So I think blockchain technology's got a bad name with Bitcoin and everything else. But actually, it's the underlying technology, the diverse nature of the ledgers and the security that provides. And I think at some point, when new products and new services are available to exploit that, there will be real disruption in retail banking because there is no centralized ledger, there is no real clearing system. So that's one of the big areas for disruption itself. So I think for me, those are the two really big areas that are interesting.
So how can banks and financial services tap into these fintech trends?
That's surprisingly difficult. Retail banking organizations have a number of approaches. So some of them are investing in startups themselves. So they'll put seed money in and help those organizations. Some are building their own incubators. So they'll open an office in Palo Alto, for example, and attract startups there. At Hewlett Packard Enterprise, we spend $3.5 billion on R&D, but it's still really difficult because we've got to track the industry, we've got to look at trends, and we've got to find these startups. What we're trying to do is build an ecosystem where we pick really good, innovative startups, and we marry those with our customers, and we use our experience, their innovation, and the customer's requirements to bring those together. That's worked really well for us in Poland, for example, where we helped Polski Bank. Originally, we built them a mobile banking app, but when we'd finished, we had an application that was an ATM card, did person-to-person payments, and actually we developed an entire payments clearing mechanism within Poland. It was hugely successful. So it is possible to do it, and if you start small, you can grow to very large. But I think even now, it still continues to be a challenge.
Always a challenge. Thank you for coming to chat to us about new business models.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.